Hi everyone, it's Niven, and today I'm making a game review of The Sun Shines Red, developed by Matthew Iger. Matthew is a college student and he pursues a career in software engineering. I love his games. He's one of my favorite developers on itch.io. He makes sensational games with amazing visuals. One of my favorite games of his is Food for Pigs, Fearlift, and Fear Tape Scrapyard. Truly terrifying and original ideas. Then we have The Sun Shines Red, the game which was published 4 days ago, and I actually left a review about this game right here. But when I played this game first time, I felt very disturbed and I left a review, but I didn't have time to reflect on this because I was developing my own game. But now I have enough time to come back. I actually played this game again, felt terrible about myself, and I have to say that I highly disagree about Matthew with this game. I think this game carries some dangerous messages. And before you start saying anything about violence in the games should be portrayed and games should talk about serious themes, I'm not talking about that. Alright? I'm not talking about that. So just bear with me. I have two major problems with this game. But before I talk about those problems, I noticed that Matthew linked an inspiration for this game video of Jordan Peterson. Now here is a picture of Jordan Peterson's book, which I own, you can see, and I've read 2 times. So you might say I have a legitimate idea of what Jordan Peterson is all about and what he's trying to preach. 2 major problems with this game. Basically, the game tells us that violence is bad by showcasing a player who is involved with corporation, and he starts simply by killing an animal, then he kills a person, then he kills a group of people, and then he goes somewhere, which I am not going to mention in this video, and he does something bad there. And Matthew's message is, look at this, player, you should feel terrible. And I do feel terrible. I have no idea if there is anyone who played this game and didn't felt terrible, uneasy, uncomfortable. And basically this game's idea is to make you feel guilty, make you feel remorse. But is it necessary? Is the idea of violence is bad, showcased in a negative way, is necessary? See, this is where Jordan Peterson's video comes up. And I have no idea if Matthew knows Jordan Peterson's ideologies as well as I do. I don't know if he read the books. I don't know if he watched his other videos. I don't know if maybe he's part of Jordan Peterson's group. I don't know. But coming from one simple video, which is 2 minutes by the way, and which carries a very dangerous message. Based on all this, I don't think Matthew was able to at least convey the message in the game the way it was supposed to be. And I know this is Matthew's game. I'm not trying to say that Matthew is wrong. I'm not trying to say that this game is bad. Please. I'm just saying that this game carries a dangerous message and it's portrayed poorly. Let's get back to the inspiration of the game. Inspiration for the game is that Jordan Peterson talks about imagine yourself as an Auschwitz guard, right? Now, some of you who don't know what he's talking about during the 20th century war times when people were massacred, when people were discriminated, and when people were killed. And this is not just simply like in 21st century we have problem with violence, right? People unfortunately kill each other. Although the violence of that grand scale, I don't know, maybe I am blind, but I don't really see. I don't really see that violence, that grand violence that exists in 21st century, just because from that period of time, when Peterson talks about the Auschwitz Guard, from that period of time, people had very different ideas. People had very different jobs and responsibilities, and they had to do what they had to do because at that point of time it was very different, and comparing those two times is very, very dangerous. Now, let's get back to the message of this game, that violence is bad. I understand violence is bad, but you don't have to think that you are a violent person to feel better, because that's what the game is talking about. The game is talking about, let's make you feel bad about yourself for you to become good, or at least for you to see violence. I don't need to think about myself being a psychotic killer to, for example, go outside and not do bad things. See, that's the issue. That's the issue I had with the game. The game is saying that you should sit down and imagine you are a terrible person, and that will help you to become a better person. So number one issue with the game, as I said, is that the game carries a dangerous message, and number two, Matthew published this on a public forum. Matthew published this game, even though I love his, right here, he has that sensitive content warning. All right. But Matthew, please understand, a 13-year-old child who comes on the side and sees this, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the sensitive content. He downloads this game, he kills a dog, which is part of the game, and in real life he might think, oh well, you know what, I should knife my dog. Let's see how that would feel in real life. Because, and I'm saying this, I'm not making things up, because people do things like that. Imagine that people actually play the game and they try to do things like that in real life. Yes. And I know some people will come out and start defending the violence in the game. I'm not talking about violence in the game. I'm not talking about serious themes should not be in the game, we should censor. No, this game should not be censored at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this game could have done a better job at portraying that idea of violence is bad and trying to make it more positive rather than negative. And once again, going back to the second problem, major problem, which is that this platform isn't for college graduates. This platform isn't for psychology majors. This platform is for children. And you might be surprised that itch.io is hosted by people who do realize that those games are played mostly by children. Those games are played mostly by 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds, even 10-year-olds. And you don't need to have an itch.io account to download the game. That's also very important, which is different from other platforms like Steam, because you do need to have an account to download the game on Steam. But this, you don't need to. So a 10-year-old, once again, can play this game without realizing what the fuck is happening in this game and say, oh, it was a great game. Now, I want to say once again that I love Matthew's work. I love his craft. I love what he does with his games visually. Although some people will watch this video and say, oh, this guy hates Matthew. Oh, he says violent games are bad for children. Oh, he is a boomer. Oh, no, please don't say bullshit like that. I talked 10 minutes about this game being amazing, and I talked and used legit arguments about this game's idea being dangerous, not the game being dangerous. But of course, people have their opinions, they can say whatever they want, although it's pretty clear what I'm trying to say. People are arrogant. People think that they are good, and they mostly judge other people based on different criteria. And you guys might think that arrogance is only self-entitlement or acting a certain way. For example, people who are older and look upon the young and say that we are better than the young. that's not only what arrogance is. Simply, if a person steals something and you're not stealing anything, and you judge that person by, oh, he stole, and he's a bad guy, I'm a good guy, that's also arrogance, right? We're all arrogant. We all think of ourselves as good people, when in real life, we do bad things. And once again, this was a very interesting comment. Matthew said, very ordinary people can do bad things, and this game was supposed to portray that. No, Matthew, no. Very ordinary people cannot do very bad things. Very ordinary people can do bad things. For example, ordinary people can hit someone with a car. Ordinary people can hit a woman. Ordinary people can swear. Ordinary people can get angry, and that's a bad thing. But a very bad thing is trying to justify genocide, trying to be part of that genocide. That's a very bad thing. There's going to be one argument against me that, Niven, violence is everywhere. People kill each other. People, they start wars and things like that. I understand. I understand people are bad. I'm not saying people are good. I'm not saying that we're all flawless, but saying that we should all consider ourselves serial killers, maniacs, deranged people, and that would make us feel better? I don't think so. No. Taking a responsibility and reading and seeking virtue, which, by the way, Jordan talks a lot about, that's what will make us better, and that's what will at least convey the positivity in ourselves. When we try to do good things, when we try to help someone. Now, do we feel good about when we help someone? Yes, of course we do. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. But is it okay to feel bad about yourself if you do something bad? Yes. And once again, the violence in this game is not about doing a bad thing, but doing a bad thing on this grand scale. The grand scale, Matthew. That's what matters. And that's what Jordan Peterson was trying to say, that guard on a grand scale of our world that we live in was a terrible person. He was a terrible, terrible person. But do those terrible people very often exist in our world? I mean, I am sure not, because if they did, then we wouldn't be alive. If there were more people like that Auschwitz guard now, we will probably go extinct and we will die, right? Yet, the majority of people don't do bad things because they're responsible, because they read the law, because they want to seek and do good things. And that's what matters the most. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I hope this message will be direct and it won't be interpreted in a way that I hate the game or I hate Matthew. Not at all. I really appreciate Matthew's game. The link is in the description, by the way. You can download the game, try it out. I don't think you will like it, but if you want to understand the context behind what I'm trying to say, you should download the game and see for yourself. I think that showcasing violence and violent acts being done by the player can be very dangerous, can be very disarming, and I think it can be done in a better context, but using it as an unnecessary tool or even using it as a shock value is a bad thing. And I do think Matthew understands this. I think that he was trying to convey this message a proper way. But once again, I think that, maybe next time he can do it better. I'm not saying once again that he did a bad job. This game should be cancelled. This game should be censored. Things like that. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying that it carries a dangerous message, and I disagree with it. That's it. Once again, thanks everyone for watching, and have a good day. Seek virtue. Don't seek violence. trying to be good. Goodbye.